But everyone can agree she picked up a glass. Like there's no arguing there.
There's not a big debate. It's not like anybody can pick up a glass. What's the big deal? It's like nobody questions it.
Guys,
Dropped a glass.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Guys, so good to see both of you again. I love both of you guys, and you're unbelievable in this. So seriously, thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Oh, thanks.
Cheers, man.
I got 1,000 questions for you. I'm going to jump in. Grief is such an interesting thing because it's almost a great unifier, something that we all experience from time to time. But I'm sort of curious what it's like dealing with tough times when you're in the public eye. Whenever you're having a bad day, but you have 1,000 cameras pointed at you from 10,000 different directions, how do you deal with something like that?
I mean, I don't think you can. I think when you're having a challenging moment or time, it's all you can be is human. I mean, usually I think you would try to avoid being public, but that's not always possible. I think it's like everybody else, people going through unimaginable things still have to go to work. They still have to pick up their kids from school. It's like, it's no different from anybody else. You just have to simply try as best as you can to put one foot in front of the other.
I mean, it's crap, isn't it? I mean, it's really hard. Just like Melissa said, just like it is for everybody else. I mean, I don't know if the cameras make it worse. I suppose if you have to front up and maybe people don't want to hear about your pain all the time. And that's just the reality of the situation. And we're all like that with each other. So yeah, it's shit, but that's okay. Things are allowed to be shit.
Yeah.
And then you go through the shit and hopefully you can come out shiny at some stage in the future.
Do you mind if I stitch that on a small pillow? Like things are allowed to be shit. Like that sounds like I want
would
that
buy
on
that pillow.
And then like maybe a coffee mug.
I would buy the pillow, the needlework. I'm in.
I got to learn how to stitch. I'm going to work on it. We all try to find things that kind of help us get through those tough moments, really whatever it takes. I'm sort of curious as to whether or not a role can be cathartic for you. Has there ever been a performance or a role that you've had that was cathartic that helped you deal with it? By the on the other side of it, you were just like, wow, like that. Like I worked through some shit because of that.
I think that for me, I think it's one of the biggest bonuses of what I do. Mm-hmm. I think every time I get to play a person, I try as best as I can to really walk in their shoes. And I think it helps. I'd like to think it helps me learn empathy and learn, boy, somebody else thinks this hurts them or this is what even if their actions are bad, it's because they're insecure or, mm-hmm. You can't always examine yourself as well as you can someone else. And so I think a big bonus of this job is you get to really have to think about how other people feel and what makes them tick. Mm-hmm. And I hope it makes me, this much more empathetic every time I get to do it.
Yeah, I just finished doing a play and I found as much as this film is about kind of trying to grieve in different ways and seeing what works, being around people for the first time in like a year and a half was very cathartic. And the play was quite emotive also. And listening to people kind of laugh and then cry in the audience collectively at whatever 700 or 800 that were there, that felt very cathartic. It felt, we are going through a necessary period of collective grief that will probably only do us good in the long term. So to be part of that collectively can be joyous.
For sure. And as we wrap up, we often hear the expression that drama is easy, comedy is hard. I've heard it for the entire time I've been a fan of movies. But now that you both have experience in both, I'm wondering how much you've found that expression to be true. Like this seems like a very difficult film to get through. So is comedy harder than this?
It's harder in a different way, in my opinion. I think when you go into a film like this, you're just going to have to go places that are not always pleasant. You're going to have to stay in them for a while. I think making a comedy in its final product is much harder than a drama. Drama, if you walk across a room and you walk across the room, grab a glass and say, I'm going to work. And if you're a good actor, no one goes, there's no debate over it. If you try to do something funny in a movie, I think 30 people don't get it, 15 are offended, 20 hate the joke. Like it just is more, it's so hard to land, to do it for the masses, that I think that's what makes comedy so much harder. But I love both.
But everyone can agree she picked up a glass. Like there's no arguing there.
There's not a big debate. It's not like anybody can pick up a glass. What's the big deal? It's like nobody questions it.
Guys,
As if you're Chris O'Dowd, and then comedy's easier. Damn it! Oh,
I made myself quite wet for that joke.
dropped a glass.
That's a line I did not expect to hear. Oh, guys, that was the best moment. I think the best moment I've had doing these via Zoom, maybe this entire pandemic. Guys, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for having a really genuine conversation with me. You guys are always so kind, and it means more to me than you know. So thank you very much for your time.
All right, take care.
Thanks,
Good to see you.
Jake.
All right, bye, guys. Good to see you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.